All right, on tonight's episode of Python Papi, we're back inside our artificial intelligence course, and we did just finish up our neural networks module. Let's have a look at what we went over tonight. Now, last night, if you recall, we were going over different shapes of our recurrent neural networks, and tonight we're going to pick up where we left off. And then there's one final problem to take a look at in terms of what we can do with these sorts of networks. Imagine something like Google Translate and what it's doing. So what Google Translate is doing is it's taking some text written in one language and converting it into text written in some other language. For example, where now this input is a sequence of data, a sequence of words, and the output is a sequence of words as well. It's also a sequence. So here we want to effectively do something like a many-to-many relationship. Our input is a sequence, and our output is a sequence as well. It's not quite going to work to just say take each word in the input and translate it into a word in the output, because ultimately different languages put their words in different orders, and maybe one language uses two words for something whereas another language uses one word. So we really want some way to take this information, this input, encode it somehow, and use that encoding to generate what the output ultimately should be. And this has been one of the big advancements in automated translation technology, the ability to use neural networks to do this instead of older, more traditional methods. This has improved accuracy dramatically. And the way we might imagine doing this again is using a recurrent neural network with multiple inputs and multiple outputs. We start by passing in all of the input goes into the network, another input like another word goes into the input, and we do this multiple times, like once for each word in the input that we're trying to translate. And only after all of that is done does the network now start to generate output, like the first word of the translated sentence, then the next word of the translated sentence, and then the next word, and so on and so forth. Where each time the network passes information to itself by allowing for this model of giving some sort of state from one run of the network to the next run, assembling information about all of the inputs, and then passing that information about which part of the output in order to generate next. So we're going to see an example of that down here below. As you can see, we have inputs going into our network, and our networks going back into the inputs going back into the networks, up into a certain point when it starts to generate outputs, and then it starts generating more outputs as the networks goes on and on. So there are a number of different types of these sorts of recurrent neural networks. One of the most popular is known as a long-term short-term memory neural network, in other words, known as a LSTM. And that's why I'm going to leave it at for tonight. Like I said, we did finish up this module finally. You can see we have 1,182 lines of code, and we are going to be starting our last module tomorrow, and that's going to be a natural language. And of course, I will keep you guys posted every step of the way. But for now, this is the Python Papi. You guys stay Gucci.